All right. Welcome back, sports fans. We are here for another live episode of the 2315 Sports Show. 2024, new year. Got some new looks, got a new Twitter profile. So let's start this year off strong. Got a lot of football to talk about today. A lot of football. And I know this is your big subject. I'm getting into it. It's okay, but I can hold my own, I think. But this is kind of your baby. So I know we're going to talk a little college, a lot of big questions with the rankings, the games, the bowls, all this stuff, and then we're going to go into a little bit of NFL regular season recap. So anything you want to tell the people before we start into this big football episode here?
That's right. Just buckle in. It's gonna be a good,
It's gonna be a ride.
good episode. That's right. We're gonna get a lot of football talk in. That's what I love. So it's gonna be fun. Be a good episode here. Should get
Yes,
some
yes.
predictions going on, but also just some good content. Hopefully, get the people
Yeah.
what they want.
I'm projecting it might be a little longer than our usual shows, but that's all right. That's what the fun part is. So we're just gonna hop right in here.
That's right.
So the first subject I thought of when I thought about college football, I mean, it was a big stir when they came out with the last college football rankings before all the bowl games and championships and all that. So the first four was a big. I don't know. It was a big conflict. A lot of naysayers, about Florida State not getting in, which we'll get to that. But how do you feel about the first four? Championship four. How do you feel?
Well, obviously, Michigan and Washington they belong. And I don't think
Absolutely.
at any point you can leave out Texas when they've already beat Alabama, had a great regular season. Went through
Hmm.
conference play, you know, title conference title. So those three, automatic locks. And then you look at other teams. I think out of the teams that were left, I think Georgia was probably the best team left. But it's hard to not put or to put them in when they just lost their conference championship to Alabama. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I don't see a way that you put Florida State in either, and that it's hard because they go undefeated, win their conference title, but
Hmm.
they're just without Jordan Travis. It really lowers the standard for their team, even though they have a good defense. I mean, you see how it went, so
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
I,
agree. I
I'm
mean,
I'm good with the way it went.
yeah, I'm so when it was happening, and I think I about got kicked out of the house because my wife is a huge Alabama fan. So I was kind of a hater on Alabama getting in, honestly, because I don't know. I mean, you go undefeated. The mold was you go undefeated through the regular season and you win your conference title, you're in. Like that was the no matter what.
Yeah,
And then this is the first year it didn't happen. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I did they get it right after what we know now? Yes. I mean, it was a great game, obviously, against Michigan. I mean, you can't say that, but I don't know how that would be a tough decision. Kind of, how do you pick a one-loss team over an undefeated team? Um, and again, I didn't like the reasoning. My big thing was, you know, oh, because this kid got hurt, because Jordan Travis got hurt, and it's like, yeah, I mean, he did, but they still won without him. I mean, he got hurt, what, 3 games left of the year, maybe, counting the conference title, something like
yeah,
that, 4 games maybe. I mean, they still went
three,
undefeated.
four
I
games.
know it didn't look
Yeah,
pretty, and the ACC isn't by any means top notch. Obviously, we all know that, but um, I don't know. It was kind of hard, and then I was sitting on it a little bit, thinking it's like, well, they did lose their Heisman. I mean, he was almost probably would have got the Heisman if I were to guess, if he would have stayed healthy. He would have been at least
yeah,
second probably. And the what they put on the field afterwards offensively was not good. defense, they were tops in the league. Of course, now we get to after all the games and they get blown out by 60. So, and yeah, a lot of them didn't play to kind of show their, I guess, against the NCAA to, kind of revolt or kind of whatever. But I don't know. I mean, they got it right at the end of the day. I honestly, I don't know about your opinion. I almost think Georgia, even though they lost, should have probably got in. I think they probably could have beat Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I know it was Florida State and they were against scrubs, second teamers, but they still performed, and they looked pretty good. I mean, for their case anyway.
Yeah, and that's I like Georgia, and I think they could have. I think they could have put up a fight just as much as Alabama did, but I think they could have. I didn't give Alabama much of a chance to actually beat Michigan, but then I think Georgia would have probably beat Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they
I would
probably
say
would
bad.
have. It would have been close, but bad.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going on
it would have
the.
been a
I'll
good.
probably go
I
on a
think it'd
blowout.
been. But I see why they did it, and I see why they put Florida State on the outside looking in.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
is it fair? It's up to debate, but we're not going to have to worry about that anymore going to the 12-team
true,
playoff next year.
true.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
you're always going to have a Georgia, Alabama, Texas,
always
Ohio
doesn't
State.
matter.
Those teams always going to be in the championship or in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think I honestly think I know they, 1 and 2 is kind of whatever. They were both undefeated, and they end up meeting, this coming up Monday. But I almost was on the side of Washington getting the number one, because to me they came out of the hardest conference in college football this year. The Pac,
Yeah, yeah,
that was stacked. And they beat Oregon twice, once in the
yep,
regular and then once in the championship. So,
yeah.
and
And
that kid
Oregon
is
was a
good. I mean,
top
yeah,
7, 8 team.
yep, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like I like Washington a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like Penix. Ah, it's going to
I don't
be.
know.
Oof.
It would have just been cool to see him play in the Rose Bowl because I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of where I mean, that's where they grew up. In other words, and that I
yeah,
know the Big Ten has always gone there, but um, it would be nice to see with that conference kind of dissolving one last year for that team to get there. But whatever. I mean, we're kind of discussing that a little later in our show here, that prediction game. But moving around, I mean, so we had those, obviously the two big ones. But we're gonna go kind of towards the other New Year's Six, and I think you got those kind of played out here. I mean, the
yeah.
only ones that really, I don't know if any of them were close, but the ones I remember, I mean, Georgia blew out Florida State. Um, we got Oregon that
Yeah. Oh,
showed really well, obviously against
yeah,
Liberty,
they
but
beat
I mean, you got to
Liberty
put them
good.
in. They were
Yep.
undefeated, kind of that rule. But
Yep.
what
And
were some
then
of those other
Missouri
ones?
beat Ohio State.
Yeah, that was kind of a shock.
Yeah. Well, when Ohio State come in, Kyle
Of
McCord
course, they
didn't
didn't have the
play.
quarterback. Yep,
Marvin
yep,
Harrison didn't play.
yep,
Their number
yep.
2 receiver, I can't remember his name, but he didn't play. And then they ended up their quarterback was, I couldn't even tell you who it was, but he was wearing number 33.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Like
That's a bad sign.
yeah. Yeah. But I mean, not taking any flowers away from Missouri on that one,
No,
but
no, that's a
they
huge win
played.
for them.
They had a good year too, so
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And
And
then
again,
after that, you get
oh yeah, go ahead.
Ole Miss over Penn State.
Yeah, I could see that one coming. Um, Ole Miss is kind of sneaky whenever it comes to those games. And Lane Kiffin's he's wild in those games, so you don't know what's coming.
Lane Kiffin, he's out there just putting in work
Yeah,
wherever
he
he
is.
goes, and he
Yes.
brings up teams, and so I know just a little, you know, talking about him, but kind of switching it up a little bit.
Mhm.
I saw the other day where they were talking about, was Saturday's game was that or Monday's game was that Nick Saban's last game as a you know as a coach? Is he retiring?
Not
And
a
like,
chance.
let's say he does, Lane Kiffin may want to just
Mhm.
slide on over,
Oh, yeah.
move over a state or two and and go to Alabama,
Yeah.
and he could do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. Or, all these rumors about Harbaugh, he goes up to Michigan, comes like I mean, that's a big job. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
coveted job too. So, I don't know, that'd be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. If he's not ready to
Um,
go pro or never does,
yeah. Yeah, I don't see why you would. I mean, it's pretty much the pros now
yeah,
where you can pay on NILs. So, um,
get whoever you want, get the
yes.
transfer, and
Mhm. Yeah.
just pay them to come play for you. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like it's not the college of old days where growing up, me and you watching
No.
and
No, they used to get in
you have a
trouble for
little
that.
bit more of yeah, and you've got more teams competing for championships, year in and year out, not just your same 3 or 4 all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, which is nice. I mean, I won't doubt that. I mean, it's nice to see Texas, even though I mean, they played a great game, but it's nice to see them back in it. Back in our day when they were,
Yeah,
Vince Young days and them in USC. I mean, that was some pretty good football. So, it was nice to see. It's nice to see
yeah,
those get up. And then next year, I mean, we get 12 of them. So, there's gonna be a lot of new teams that could make some noise and go on a run. I mean, that's huge.
yeah. You'll get all of the smaller schools like Liberty to
Mhm.
be able to, shoot their shot pretty much and be like, "Hey, we deserve to be
Yeah.
here." Well,
Well,
prove
let's
it.
see.
You get that chance. Teams like Boise State of old,
Yeah.
they always thought they should be national championship contenders, but
Yep.
everyone thought it was a joke. And
Yep.
teams like that now finally get to prove themselves. Like, just say, "Hey, we belong here." See what we can
Yeah.
do.
See what we can do. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, we've seen glimpses of it. Like last year, I mean, what was that? TCU that got in,
Yeah,
and then they beat Michigan, and then they get obliterated by Georgia. Like, and that's what it's always been. It's always been, these teams might be able to get to the game, but once they go up against a NCAA or SEC team, they're bigger, faster, strong. I mean, it was never a
yeah,
competition. The SEC was prime for football, but
yeah.
now
You get a
I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
with the
you get a
NILs, that
team
changes
like
everything.
Georgia. Yeah, you get a team like Georgia or somebody else who may have 45-star recruits on their team, and then
Yeah,
playing against someone like TCU that may have,
1,
7 or
5,
8
right? Yeah.
max.
Yep.
Yeah, and so you're at a big disadvantage here. You've played well all year. You've got the experience, and you may think you're tough until you get smacked in the mouth
Yeah.
by somebody like that. And so it
Right.
it'll be real interesting to see this time next year how it's all played out.
I agree. I agree completely. Overall, though, I mean, the overall opinion I had on bowl games, and I saw a tweet, and I can't remember who it was. One of the pros, and I agree with it. They seem like a waste of time anymore. With all these people sitting out,
Yeah.
it it, it sucked. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good for those kids that get to play, like that have not played probably in 5 years, but it's not a good show to put on the field. Like, it's not a good product. So I'm expecting the NCAA to
Yeah.
change some of that stuff. Because
Yeah.
that's
That's what it
it's not
would
right.
yeah. And when you get the 12-team playoffs,
They're
I
gonna have to
mean,
play.
you're basically eliminating your New Year's 6 games, and
Mhm.
then, other than that, like, what you get your lower level teams playing each other. And I mean, I don't know, because even for me, as a Kentucky fan, watching us play Clemson, it was a good game, but
Yeah.
I mean, y- everybody played, or most everybody played for Kentucky, but at the same time, it's just like it's another game. It's fun to watch. I enjoy it. But you get other teams like USC, even though their
Mhm.
quarterback stepped up and played really well, your stars didn't play.
Right.
And so it's a watered down product, like you said.
Exactly. Right, and you got people paying good money for these games, and sponsors paying huge money
Yeah.
for these games. I mean, the sponsors are paying millions.
Yep.
I mean, that's if I were to pay millions for that Georgia game, Georgia and Florida State, and it was a rout of 60-3, which people were done after the first quarter watching, I, I wouldn't do it again. I mean, I'm not wasting money. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It
No,
wasn't
that's
a
what
good year for it at all.
yeah. And that's what we were out on vacation, and I looked down at the score and at the first quarter, and it was already, halfway through, and it was blowout already. I was like, well, I'm just gonna put my phone down. I'm not even gonna try to watch this
No,
game because it's
not a
it's
chance.
horrible. So
Yeah, it's a bad product. Now,
yeah,
we did have two probably, and I can remember the two best college football playoff games that I have ever seen. Um, I mean, you had Michigan and Alabama. I mean, Alabama looked like they had it, and then shoots themselves in the foot. They go to overtime, and Michigan, like that Blake Corum, just ate it up. And again, a one score game at the end, and then the same way with Washington and Texas. I mean, that that game was insane. It was a shootout. It was over with it. Like, we were on vacation too, and it was like I looked at my phone when we got up the next day, and it wasn't over till with 1 a.m. Eastern time, which is what we were in. And I'm like, good God, like no way. But it was a heck of a game. I
yeah,
mean, I watched little replays of it and good stuff. So those two were probably the best thing we've ever seen in quite a while, if that I can remember anyway.
yeah. And that's well, I was watching the Michigan game, and when it was back and forth, and Michigan kind of, got lucky at the beginning of the game with the block
Mm-hmm.
punt and then got into good field goal or good position to score the touchdown. And then Alabama just comes storming back in the fourth quarter
Mm-hmm.
pretty much and just imposed their will on them and, got stuff there at the end. But their last punt when, Michigan guy muffed it at the
Oh
2-yard
yeah,
line,
I'm like, it's
I was
over.
like, "What an idiot!" And so I was sitting there watching it with my brother-in-laws, and I was like, I can't believe it. Like, you're inside the 10-yard line, like the rule is get away from it. Like, don't sit
Yes,
there and try to
I
catch
don't
the
know
ball
why he
inside
caught it.
your own 10. Like,
No,
who cares if they pin you at the 1 because
exactly.
you just about lost the game for your team right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
And then when it went to overtime and Corum, proved why he's the best running back in, college football right now.
yes.
And then everybody knew on that fourth down call. The whole Michigan defense knew. They were lined up, pointing fingers at Milrow. They said, "Here it
Mm-hmm.
comes, right up the middle. We know what's coming. We're gonna stop it. Game's over." And sure
Yeah.
enough, that's what happened. So they
You know what?
they
You know why that
they're a
is though,
very
right?
experienced team because they're experienced.
Uh-huh. Maybe a little sign stealing again. Should we rub that in there a little bit?
Eh,
No, I think that
hey,
end
that's what.
play though, if Milrow would have saw it, the running back coming out the end or the side was wide open. All those
You could have
two
pitched it to him.
receivers, all those two receivers had to do was block the two guys in front. It was 2-on-3. I mean, it,
Yeah.
he was wide open, but they were blaming it
Mm,
on the snap, and he couldn't look up fast enough. And I'm like, nah, I don't know.
yeah.
The snap wasn't that bad, like at that point in the game. But
Yeah.
it was good. And then watching, I
Well,
mean, that
that's
Penix
yeah.
kid lit it up.
Well, I was going back real quick, going back to the Michigan game.
Mhm.
I was listening to Colin Cowherd this morning. It was from his show yesterday, I believe, and
Okay.
he was talking about Michigan and how they the sign stealing and you know how JJ McCarthy was like, we're here to show you that we don't win because of that. We win, because we have the talent and the experience and we
Mhm.
put in the work. And they were like the last 3 games they've dominated,
Mhm.
after getting caught with the sign stealing. And they're like, so, how much did that really put on? But Michigan's the most experienced team in college football with an average age of like 23 on
Yeah.
their starters. And so they were like, Harbaugh's built the trenches, offense
Mhm.
and
Yes. Yeah, he's did a great job.
defensive. And that's all they've done is put in the work and just grinded. And so that's, I mean, they're going to be, it's going to be a battle Monday. But,
Yeah.
and then switching back to the Washington game, you know, Penix, he put on a show, and he's great. He's a great
Yeah.
college quarterback. We'll see how he transitions to pro, um, but Texas, I thought they were gonna play a little bit better, and it took them a
Mhm.
little bit to get going, really. But
Yep.
Quinn Ewers, he finally figured it out, and got him down the field for a chance, but he just run out of time just a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It was a little too late, and their defense didn't help them much.
Yeah.
Penix shredded them. Like, it didn't
Oh
matter.
yeah.
Pocket collapse. He just shredded them. So, 2 great games, which builds us to the end all say all on Monday. We got Michigan, we got Washington, and this is in where is this? Is the championship in
Uh,
Houston? Houston. I think it's Houston
maybe I don't.
at the
Is,
Texans
is it?
Stadium.
Uh, I'll
NRG
look it up
maybe.
real quick because
I
I'm
think it
not
is.
sure.
I'm pretty sure it
Yeah,
is.
if it's NRG,
Um,
it's
I think it's the Texans Stadium, if I
okay.
remember right. Um, which doesn't really matter. That's pretty much the middle for both teams. Um, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of I don't know what to think of it. Michigan, obviously didn't look great. That first game was very sloppy. Like, I think they got lucky. Both teams got lucky to even be that close either way. So,
Yeah.
you after the month off that you get, which I think is ridiculous. Um, they they're coming in kind of, I don't know, kind of unknown, and then you got Washington who showed really well. So should be a good game. I think my personal opinion, I think Washington's going to take this one. I'm going to say I'm going to say 2 touchdowns. I think they're going to beat them
Two
pretty.
touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm going on that.
Golly.
Yeah, I'm going to say the best games of the year were the 2 playoff games, and this championship one might be a little one-sided. I'm gonna go on a
Okay.
limb here.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a strong opinion there, and I'm not gonna. Hey, that's all right. That's what. So looking at it, Washington's got better quarterback play, and they're better on the perimeter with
Mhm.
Polk. Michigan doesn't have that stud receiver. Washington's got it. They have the quarterback, but when you look down, better offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, secondary, even running back on offense. He goes to Michigan. I
Yeah.
think Michigan's going to punch him in the mouth, but Washington has enough firepower that even if they
Mhm.
get down by 10, 14,
Sure.
17, whatever it will be, they can fire back and they can put up points in a hurry.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Washington a lot
The
because they can put it up. But I think 27 no 28-24 Michigan
Michigan. Okay. All right. I'll
with Blake Corum being the MVP running for like
ooh,
a buck 75.
ooh, that's a
Two
good
tutties at
prediction.
least.
2 tutties. So the
I
big
like it.
thing I liked of Washington They have the best offensive line in football. That's been like statted. They have the best offensive line in football. So when you have the best offensive line in football, best quarterback probably in football, well, in these two games, in this game anyway, um, best wide receiver core. I don't know. It's hard to go against them. I'm kind
It
of hoping
is.
he shreds Michigan because Michigan chokes. They choke a lot in these types of games,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Now I'm kind of hoping for it, but I don't know. Should be a good game. I'm hoping for like the 34-20 area,
Okay.
with the
Okay.
two touchdowns. I don't know what the spread is or anything or
Yeah.
whatever it is, but um, I don't know. My money's on Washington, so bring
Yeah.
the chip to the Huskies.
Yeah. Well, that's Harbaugh hasn't. You look, he's beat Michigan or beat Ohio State 3 years
Yeah.
in a row. But other than that, when he was in the NFL, he got to a Super Bowl and lost. And then you go, he's been in the playoffs. I think it's his second year. They lost last year in the playoffs.
Yep.
The year
To TCU.
before, I don't think they were just like he hasn't got it done yet. Not saying he
Mm-mm.
can't get it done,
No.
but he's got to put in a big game plan to get after Penix, put the pressure on him, and they're going to have to lock up Polk on the outside because if they don't, it's going
Ball
to be a
game.
long, long night for him.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
Penix, he's special,
He is.
and
He is.
that's
Everyone.
always been. You look at I mean, last year's championship game, there really wasn't like it was Stetson Bennett versus Max Dugan, like
Yeah.
nothing too
Mm-mm.
crazy. But then, like most national championship games, if there are two stud quarterbacks or one stud quarterback, the better quarterback normally comes out on top,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
and that's what makes me kind of think about it
He does.
twice because it's not. I like JJ McCarthy a lot.
Oh yeah.
But I don't as a college player, it's here, with Penix up higher. But
Yes.
like if you're looking at their pro, you're more even.
Probably McCarthy. Yeah. Yeah.
But I do like Penix a ton
I do too.
because he just makes plays. He's a winner and it's
And
gonna be tough.
he's a lefty, so it's all backwards.
But I think Michigan's tougher. That's right.
Tough for defense.
But Michigan's tougher. They're more physical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to hit where Pac-12 teams have always been more of a finesse
Yes.
style of play.
Yep.
So, but I think
In
they are going to
in every
get
sport,
hit
pretty
in the
much.
mouth. It's just going to be how they respond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll just see how they respond.
Yep. So I mean, we got Washington and you got Michigan, so we'll see. Um, so speaking with all with
That's
the
right. It'll be a good
quarterbacks,
one.
I mean, we got supposedly Caleb Williams, May, you got Nix, you got Penix, you got McCarthy, you got all this team. So why don't we don't jump into a little NFL stuff? Huh? I mean, we
Yeah,
haven't talked about it
yeah,
yet. Um, NFL, it's kind of more your realm. I enjoy watching college football better than the NFL. I think probably a lot of people do, but
yeah,
um, this is kind of your realm. So, I mean, the regular season recap. My personal opinion. I mean, so Bears fan, Patriots fan. So both of us don't need to talk about anything regarding those two this year, pretty much. Um, but I mean, through all of it, it looked like Miami was going to run away with it, and San Francisco was going to run away with it, and there wasn't going to be anyone in sight. And then all of a sudden, now we're here, and it's kind of changed a little bit. So, looks like a pretty decent shape up to the end of the year. Um, you know, I don't know. What do you think?
yeah. So like you said, it looked like we knew what was going to happen and what was going on, but
Mhm.
everything is kind of flipped a little bit in the last few weeks. And I mean, everyone thought beginning of the year Chiefs may run it back and the Eagles were going to be this powerhouse like they were last year, but they're struggling with their identity. The Chiefs can't hang on to a pass. Travis
Nope.
Kelsey looks old. Teams are figuring out what to
Mhm.
do with Patrick Mahomes a little bit more. And
Yep.
so it's a little bit different. And so Miami, put on a show early, but can't beat a good team. The Cowboys, they look good, but
Mhm.
they
And they've looked
haven't
bad.
really been able to they haven't really been able to beat a good team except the Lions the other week, but really shouldn't have beat the Lions.
Nope.
And so it's wide open in the AFC, and the NFC may be a little bit, there may
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
surprise team, but so far it's San Francisco is
yes.
running it, and
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Purdy, Kittle, like that
Yeah.
offense
It's
is
insane.
god tier almost. Yeah.
So is their
So it'll
defense. Their
be
defensive line is insane too.
well, they got 7 guys that rotate through that line
Mhm.
and are able to, get in there and make impact plays constantly. So being able to have that luxury pretty much, nobody gets tired. You're able
No.
to rotate, you're able to continue to have quality play, which most teams, you get your front four and you may have one guy, maybe 2 guys, if you're lucky, to come in there that are going to put pressure and, keep your team afloat for a few plays while, your main guys get rest. But the 49ers, they're just like, hey, we're going to rotate here, 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 and here, and
And
keep
we got
going. Just, power on.
yeah. Yeah, they're an incredible team. I like everything about them. I mean, I like their coach. I just like it all. I mean,
Yeah.
they're hard to root against.
Yeah. It'll be, I would like to see them
Mhm.
probably win it. Are they going to? I don't know. I like Christian McCaffrey. I'm a huge McCaffrey fan, so it'll be it'll be good. But you've got, the Ravens. They've locked up the 1 seed.
Mhm. And they look good.
They're tough. Which, well, and that's you look at they've played. I think it's 4 division winners or leaders. They played the 49ers. They played the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure they played the Lions, and there was one other team that they played, and they beat them by a combined or an average of 25 points.
Yeah. Yeah, that's saying something.
And the best defense in football,
Mhm. Always. Usually is.
statistically wise. And then the MVP Lamar. And in
Yes.
their run game, they have the best run game in football, but what's going to hurt them is if they play a team who is committed to stopping the run, playing 6, 7 guys in a box, and you know guarding their receivers because the Ravens are like 21st in passing or something like that was the last thing I seen.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so even though they can do it, they're thinking, and it may just the statistics may be like, oh, well, they're 21st because they run the ball more.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
it
I don't
is,
know.
it will be interesting to see
I think
these
so too.
playoffs. So,
It is.
but yeah,
And I
we've got
mean,
a lot of
a lot of big things this week. I mean, actually
yeah,
there's
that's
a few games this week that are pretty important. Um and I know you
yeah,
you had mentioned you wrote them down
yeah,
and I mean, I'll kind of go after you on that cuz I don't know. Like there's some good games in there and important, like I said.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and speaking of the Ravens, they play the Steelers, but the Steelers have to win to make the playoffs. And but I
So I'm
would
assuming
say the
Lamar's
Ravens are
sitting.
going
I would assume.
uh I would assume too. I don't think Harbaugh's come out and said
Yeah,
yes
I don't
or
think so either.
no. but it's hard especially with that 1 seed because you're already getting a bye in the playoffs.
Right.
So giving them 2 weeks off, you don't want them to come back rusty.
Right. Yeah, true.
So, but I'd say they won't play the whole game if they do play some. So, but the Steelers have a lot to be playing for, and Mason Rudolph, he's playing, he's getting the start. So they're going to rely heavily on that defense and Najee Harris and
Yeah.
Jalen Warren, I believe, to get
Yep.
them to the playoffs, which I think they'll probably. I'd say they'll probably end up winning and making the playoffs. But I think even if they do lose, they can still sneak in with other people
Sneak in.
losing, I think. So, and then other big game, you've got the Jaguars and the Titans, which the Jaguars, if they win the division and lock up the 4 seed. But if they
Okay.
lose, then the winner of the Texans Colts game gets the division in the 4.
Ooh.
So big game for the Jags, which they were not even sure Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to go.
Oh, that's
But
huge.
it'll be
That's a huge thing right there.
which Mike Vrabel said today, they were talking about him and he was like, yeah, we're losing sucks. He's like, that shit
Yeah.
sucks. So we're gonna come in here and give it everything we got. So and they may come up and pull the upset, which would be kind of cool. To make that but I like the Jags. I like Trevor Lawrence.
I do
I
too.
don't know. If he plays, they'll win. If he doesn't play, they'll lose. And the Texans will win the division.
Agreed. I can see
Because
that coming.
CJ Stroud is
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah, he's playing well.
But
And he's played well all year
yeah.
once he, then he got hurt. But yeah, I like the
Yeah.
Jaguars. But if Lawrence isn't playing, then I think that's a loss. He's big time. So
Yeah. Yeah, he's the key cog to that, that machine. So, but and then we've got Bills Dolphins, last one for the AFC. Bills Dolphins, winner gets the 2 seed.
Mhm.
Loser can go anywhere from the 5 down to the 7, and the Bills can possibly miss the
Miss it.
playoffs, I believe, is what I read.
That's
But they have to have a lot to happen for them to miss the playoffs. But
that's a huge game. That's probably the biggest game.
yeah,
But
it's going to be the biggest game of the day.
I mean, of those, I hope. So is Miami in regardless, win or lose?
I believe so.
Okay,
I believe
so
so.
as long as that happens, I'm cool with it. Like, I wouldn't mind the Bills winning. As long as the Dolphins get out,
Yeah.
I want to see them in the playoffs. So that's my take
Yeah.
on them.
Best case scenario, because Josh Allen always plays his best versus Miami. Miami's down their 2 best pass rushers. Xavier Howard's out. Tyreek Hill's got a foot injury, but it's also his mind may not be right,
Right.
with this house catching fire.
Yep. Yeah.
And then you've got Jalen Waddle's out. And
Yep.
so I think the Bills win, Dolphins lose. Best case scenario for the NFL is the Browns win, secure the 5, and the Dolphins fall to the 6, where they get to go to Kansas City in the Tyreek Hill revenge game versus the Chiefs.
Oh, and beat them.
That's what I'm looking forward to, because
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Tyreek Hill coming in there versus Patrick Mahomes
Yeah,
and
that'll be
getting
cool.
the dub and sending him home.
Sending them home.
That would be nice. So
I agree.
it'll be there's some big games that could happen in the playoffs, but I would love to see Josh Allen and the Bills get the 2 seed, because I think they can make some noise, because right now Josh Allen's playing football just about as good as any other player in the league.
Yep. Yeah,
So
I'd agree.
it'll
with
be
that.
good.
Like
Interesting to see the AFC. The NFC is a little bit different because you've got the Lions, wrapped up their division. The 49ers have wrapped up their division. The Buccaneers, they play the Panthers this week. If they win, they win the division. But if they lose, the Saints have a chance to win the division,
Oh,
which I don't think that's going to happen.
no, I
I
don't
think the
either.
Bucks, Baker Mayfield has played good ball.
Yeah, he has.
Mike Evans is playing good ball. The defense is playing good. So we'll just I'm gonna hope the Bucks end up winning that one, keeping it
Yeah,
keeping
I'd
it
like to see him.
going, keep the train going. See Baker in the playoffs. I'm a
Mhm.
huge Baker fan, so
That's huge. I
but
mean, that's
and then yes, and then the other one, you got the NFC East. You've got the Cowboys and the Eagles battling it out for the 2 seed as well. But the Cowboys, they play the Giants, I believe. Nope, they play the Commanders,
Commanders. Yep.
and the
Yep.
Eagles play the Giants.
Yeah.
And
So,
so at that point, you've got the Eagles, an older team, older offensive line.
mhm.
I don't know if you go in and you're trying to win, obviously, because you want the 2 seed. But if you see, say halftime, you walk in and see that the Cowboys are just smacking the Commanders around and they've got a huge lead, pull your starters at that point. Be like, well, hey, we're not winning the division, but let's at least rest a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Maybe
agree.
give them a half off.
Yep.
You're going to get the 5, 6 seed, and then get ready for the playoffs. Because
Yeah.
especially when you're playing in New York on that horrid turf there that everybody seemed to get injured on. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'd pull him as soon as you could. That's for sure.
yeah, get them out of there, and then just kind of go from there. Because I mean, even if you're the 5 seed, that means you'll line up with the 4 seed, which will probably be the Buccaneers. So if it was
Mhm.
Eagles at Bucks,
Yeah.
you've
So
got it.
that's
You know, yeah.
you got a good
And then you'll
chance,
probably match up with the Cowboys in the next round after that. So
which would be
you could get your
huge.
revenge there. Yeah, at Dallas.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but yeah, it'll be Dallas is good.
Yeah.
They're very heavily reliant on CD Lamb on offense.
Yep.
Um, they don't run the ball well. That's their bad thing. If they get a lead, they're going
Yeah,
to
they
need to
can.
run the ball, and
Yep.
they can't.
Yep.
So it'll be tough, but I'm really looking forward to the playoffs because I love the NFL. It's regular season, I watch it, I love it, but playoff time, I'm gonna be engulfed in it. Like I'm not
Oh, yeah,
missing a second of playoff football.
definitely. And I know there's
So it'll be
one
it'll be fun for sure.
it's probably the biggest game of the Bears season this Sunday where they can go into Lambeau and end the Green Bay Packers' dreams of a playoff run this year. And
Yes.
they're
Yes.
playing on a high. I mean, everything going into this game, like DJ Moore got snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Like, I mean, everything's on point to where they could go in and absolutely blow the doors off this place. And I hope they do. Like, that'll just that'll
Yeah.
make my whole year. Like, losing season technically doesn't matter to me. Like, give me the win to
Yeah.
knock the Green Bay Packers out of the Super Bowl or playoffs. Yeah, give me that. Give me that chance.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, because that is huge rivalry game, of course.
Hmm.
But when's the last time Chicago's went into Lambeau and beat them?
Oh, we won't even discuss
Long
it.
time.
Yes. Yeah.
So feels like it's been a lifetime. But
Yeah.
you know,
Fields
you
hasn't done it, so he's got to go in and do it.
yeah, and that's the thing. So you're looking at they've won what is it, 5 out of the last 6 or something like
Hmm.
that. The Bears have, or 4 of
Yep.
the last 5, something like
Yeah.
that.
Something like that.
So they're on a heater right now. Fields is starting to figure it out a little bit. He's
Hmm.
got the weapons, but then after that, like Fields is probably trying to look at it too, like, hey, I'm playing for my job right now. If I
Or a new job.
win,
I mean,
do they keep me?
yeah,
But if I lose, more than
yeah,
likely they're probably going to move off of him, which is crazy to
I
me.
agree.
But
I agree.
But I don't know. It's tough but I would love to see him go into Lambeau, just
Oh,
crush their hopes and
me
dreams,
too. And
and just end it.
give me one by like 40. Give me a blowout by 40. Like he goes for crazy yards. He runs for like a $150, throws for 400, 6 touchdowns. Like
Gosh,
just give me something crazy.
that'd be
Like
just a fantasy game right there.
yes. Yes, this is the one to do it. Like go out and not care how you play. Like just let it loose. Like I don't care.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what do you
Have
have to lose?
fun for once. Like,
Yes. What do you have to
yeah,
lose?
yeah,
And everything
yeah.
to
And
gain.
then you get DJ Moore out. Yeah, get DJ Moore out there. Let him, kind of be like, hey,
Cook.
you messed up, not put me in the Pro Bowl.
Mhm.
Show them how to do it and
Let him
just
cook.
ball out.
I
It
agree.
would be a great ending to your season.
Yes. Yes, it
So,
would.
but then, and it would really solidify and say, hey, look, we're Fields is the guy. Hopefully,
Mhm.
maybe you're going to give Eberflus another year.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Let him prove himself, and then just continue to build. You've got that number one
Yep.
pick. Either pick Marvin Harrison or trade down a little bit, and then figure out, get some more offensive lineman pieces, build up your secondary, and then you're off to the races, and you're hopefully in
Yep.
contention for the NFC North
Mhm.
as long as Fields takes that next step, just really, really step it up.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
So it'd be good, but
With
yeah,
all this week 18
yep.
stuff. So with the playoffs imminent, we got 1 week left. And your picks to be in the playoffs. What you got?
Okay, so to
Just to
make
make
the
it. Just to make
playoffs,
it. Yes.
so we're gonna go. Okay,
So in those
AFC
scenario games, I guess.
Ravens obviously the one.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah, so you got Ravens 1, Bills 2, Chiefs 3, Jacksonville 4,
Okay.
and then Browns 5, Dolphins 6, and Texans 7.
Okay.
I'll put them
Okay.
over the Steelers. Maybe the Ravens beat the Steelers,
Yep.
Texans win, they get in.
Yep. I
I
like
like
those.
that. I
I like
think,
that
and
too.
then in a
I actually agree with that.
NFC, it I think that's probably the most likely scenario. But you never know. Like
Mm.
somebody has a bad game, somebody gets hurt, and anything could change.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And then so NFC, you're looking at um 49ers are the 1.
Yep.
Cowboys are going to wrap up the 2.
Agree.
Um, let's
I
see.
think
So
Detroit,
that would
right?
put
Detroit's
Detroit the
3.
3. Yep. I had to
Yep.
think for a second. Yeah. Detroit the 3, and then that leaves you with the Buccaneers the 4.
Mhm.
Um, I think they've got enough. I think the Buccaneers have too much veteran leadership with players who have already been to the playoffs, been to the Super Bowl in the last few years, that they know how to win, they know how to execute, prepare. That this is a playoff game basically for them.
Yes. Yep.
So they've got to win, and so the playoff game to continue their season to the actual playoffs. So I think they get it done. Um, Eagles 5,
Yep.
and then honestly the 6. Trying to think, I don't even know who would be in the 6. Um,
So I think if
East, South.
Green Bay
The
loses,
Rams.
yeah. Yep.
The Rams are the 6. That's right. Because
Yep.
you're looking at a Rams Lions playoff matchup with
Mhm.
Stafford versus Goff,
Yep,
which
which
will
is
be
huge.
cool. Both playing their
Yep,
former teams. Yeah.
yep.
And then number 7, God, I hate this pick, and I'm sorry, but the Packers are making the playoffs.
Nah, no, fuck them Packers. No. I don't know as they get to 7. Because I think they play. Oh, wait a minute. So one gets by, right? One gets the bye.
Yeah, they're the only
Yeah, so they would get the
team
7
that
if they
gets a
win because
bye.
they play. They either get the 6 or 7 because they either play Dallas or Detroit, um, in their scenario routes. So I'm
Yeah,
not real sure. Um, so out of
that's what I was trying.
that,
The only other Minnesota can get the 7,
if Green Bay loses, probably,
and
and they win,
yeah,
Minnesota
Minnesota has
wins.
to win. Green Bay loss, Seattle loss,
Oh
and a
Lord,
Tampa Bay loss, or a New Orleans loss. Like it's
yeah, it's a lot of what ifs.
a lot of things going on. But then also, like Seattle can get this. Seattle's the most likely. They get in with
Okay,
a win and a Green
I
Bay
like that.
loss.
I
So if
like
the
Seattle.
Bears win and Seattle wins, they get the 7.
I'd go
I
with
do
Seattle.
too.
I like that.
They're all right. That's fair enough. So
That's fair. I
I
don't want the
like,
Packers
but I
in.
do.
So
I like the Packers. That would lead if the Packers make the playoffs. That takes them into Dallas with like a
yeah,
Mike McCarthy revenge game.
true,
Also,
true. So you got a lot of revenges in there.
but like if yeah, and if that happened, let's just hypothetically say Jair Alexander has his best game and locks up CD Lamb.
Mhm.
Is the Packers offense, is Jordan Love good enough to put up points on that
Not a
defense
chance.
to
I don't think so.
no. Okay.
I don't
We'll
think
just
their
skip
line.
that.
It's not Jordan Love. I
I
don't think
don't
it's
think
their
so
line
either.
that can. I don't think their line can handle Dallas's line because Dallas's line. I mean, Parsons is an
Yeah,
animal.
Micah Parsons.
I mean, they got
Yeah, DeMarcus
Demarcus. I
Lawrence.
mean, they got guys. They got dogs. I mean, they got. They got.
Yeah.
Yeah, they. You got to have a pretty stout offensive line, and the Packers don't have it. So, um,
Yeah.
so with those, who do you have in the NFC and AFC title games
Okay. So
making it through?
AFC AFC title game.
Mhm.
Oh, let's see. Because I do like the Ravens. All they'll have to do is win one game. And I think what's going to happen is if the Dolphins get the 6, they're going to go into Kansas City and get the win.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
that would put Miami going to Baltimore. And we just
Baltimore.
seen how that went.
Yeah, didn't
So
go
I
well.
would say Baltimore. Yeah, and then you're more than likely going to probably get either Jacksonville or Cleveland versus Buffalo.
Mhm.
And I think Cleveland will put up a better fight,
I
but I
agree.
think it's going to be. I hate to pick the 1 and the 2, but it's going to be Buffalo at Baltimore.
Yep.
And I think Josh Allen comes
Oh,
out on top and gets over the hump, finally gets the team to the Super Bowl.
oh, oh. That's some big words there.
I think they figured it out. Yeah, that's
That's.
a
I would take that.
bold choice here.
I don't know. I see. I think. I mean, I like all the picks. I still. I agree with you. I don't like 1 and 2 meeting, but I think it's kind of inevitable. Um, in their kind of
Yeah,
division or their side, and I don't know. I like the Ravens. I like the way Lamar's playing. I like the way they're all playing. Like you said, best defense in the league. I hate it for Josh Allen, but it's that Bills curse of never. I mean, they went to 3 Super Bowls and they didn't win, so I don't know if he'll even get to one. Like
Yeah.
it's just bad luck, bad karma all around them. So I'll go with the Ravens instead of the Bills
Okay.
in that one.
So you got Ravens over the Bills.
Yes, to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, shout out to our guy Corey Wheeler.
Yeah,
Got
sorry,
the
bud.
Bills Mafia.
Sorry. I'm against it. I mean, I want them to, but I don't think they can do it. So,
Right here.
so NFC, that one's a little. I mean, again, it's a little harder. Um, I think in the title game alone, you're going to get San Francisco, like just the way they're playing.
Yeah.
It's that one's inevitable. Now the others, I don't know. All the rest of the teams are like, I, I don't know. Um, I think I would go out on a limb and say my dark horse to make it is Detroit because they're playing ridiculously well. I like their coach. Um, Goff is Goff is top QB in the league. I mean, he seems to be. Um, their defense is stout. Um, their secondary is kind of, but their front seven's good. Um, I don't know. I'd like to see them in the title game against San Fran, but they're kind of my dark horse pick. I would assume it'll be. I'll give it to Dallas. I mean, I'm usually hating on Dallas, but I think they kind of got it this year, and they meet the 49ers
Yeah.
in the title game, but the Niners wipe the floor with them. Honestly, like that's where they're
Mm.
that's where they end. That offense is just too
Yeah.
powerful. Even with that defense, it they can't stop it. I don't think so. I got the 49ers coming out, obviously, as a favorite. But
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, going with our hypotheticals there. So if we were looking at that, you would have Green Bay going into Dallas week in
yeah,
the first week of the
originally.
playoffs, and Dallas is winning. So Dallas,
Yes.
that puts them into the second round, and then you would have Lions Rams, and I think the Lions win that. They're just too good. The
Yep.
Rams are good, but Lions are just a better team.
Agreed.
And then after that, that gives you Eagles versus Bucks. And with the
The
Eagles
Eagles.
win, the Bucks just aren't.
No, they're not that good.
I don't. If the Eagles can get back to that run first identity instead of being like, oh, Jalen, win us a game, like put the ball in DeAndre Swift's hands and Jalen's, let them run, then play off the play action, run, you know, pass when you need to. You've got a great offensive line. You have a great defense. Go behind that line, go behind the run game, get back to it. If they can do that, they'll go into Tampa and they'll win.
Okay.
And then so that leaves you back with Eagles at 49ers and Lions at Dallas.
Yep.
And like you said earlier, you've got to have a good offensive line to beat Dallas to be able to stop that pass rush. And Detroit has that. They actually have the best offensive line in
Yep.
football.
And they beat them once
And they're
already at
going to
home,
run the ball.
technically.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
And they're
let's
going
be
to run
real.
the ball. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, technically, Dallas is 8-1 at home this year,
Yep.
but
I
or
agree.
8-0, but should be 7-1.
Yep.
It is what it is. But I think Detroit will go in there pissed off and
Mm-hmm.
punch them in the mouth.
It's good
And
pick.
between David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs, they're going to win that ball game for them.
I like it.
And then when they need to play, Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to come across the middle, and he's going to get one, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a big play. So I like Detroit, and then I do like the 49ers I think that one will be a really tough game, but I think San Fran beats them by 10. So
Yep.
then you got San Fran and Detroit, and my heart says Detroit
I know.
because the underdogs, they're
Yep.
coming on. I'm like,
I know.
get Detroit to a Super Bowl, but they're not good enough to beat San
No.
Francisco.
No. And that game against Dallas
And
is going to
so
drain
San
them.
Francisco's,
So,
yep, because it's going to be a dogfight in
yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at 49ers versus Bills for me and 49ers versus Ravens for you.
Yep. So we both got the 49ers
And
in
so if that's the case, do you think Lamar's got enough to beat the 49ers?
there. So it's in Vegas this year?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
in
right?
Vegas. Yep. Yep.
No. 49ers. They've been I can't bet against this Purdy kid. Like if he's healthy and everything's rocking like it is and CMC, I got 49ers.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a close one though. Like maybe I'm going to I was going to say I'm within a field goal, but I'm going to say within a touchdown. I'm going to say within 7.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I like. I like the 49ers in that situation. They both have a really good defense, but the Ravens have the best defense. If they can slow Christian McCaffrey down, you're not going to stop him. So if you can slow him down and make it a Brock Purdy game, they've got a chance.
Yes.
But I do love me some Brock Purdy.
I do too.
And he's got that dog in him.
He does. He does.
But I think it'll be close.
And you got 49ers and Bills. Do you think the Bills are winning? You think Bills can take them down?
Gosh, that defense, the Bills' defense is just the secondary is depleted with injuries. No Tre'Davious White, and then losing the Edmonds, the middle linebacker, to Chicago, that hurt them a lot this
That
year.
hurt them a lot.
But if Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are healthy in that safety position.
Oh, he's thinking. Is he going out on a limb?
I think they have a chance because they've got a chance because Josh Allen is special, not only throwing the ball, but running the ball.
Agreed.
They've got James Cook. He's been coming alive. This is tough for me.
I see
to be
that.
continued. Maybe next week I give you. Maybe next week I can give you a prediction.
Teasing the people.
Let's see. No, I can't. 49ers. 49ers by 10.
Oh.
They're finally going to get one. They're going to punish Josh Allen.
Yep. And they're gonna
make him use his legs, and he's gonna make too many mistakes. I love Josh Allen, but he's gonna make too many mistakes because that's what he does. And he folds under pressure. He's gonna show that he's Superman throughout the AFC, get to the NFC, and get smacked in the Super Bowl.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. I can take that. Again, sorry to our boy Corey because
that's right.
That'll be crushing for him. But maybe we get him on the show after, or if that happens. If he gets to the Super Bowl, Corey's got to come on the show.
But watch us just both
be totally wrong.
That's right. Watch us both be wrong though. And like the 49ers lose first or second round to the Eagles, and we're just like,
yeah, then we're all screwed.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Yeah. So I know. So that's
so
it. Now I know you talked before the show. You wouldn't give me any. You wouldn't give me any hints. You wouldn't give me any nothing. That I got. You got a scenario. So what's going on?
Yeah.
What you got?
Yeah. So hypothetically, Bears lose this week to the Packers. Justin Fields shits the bed. It's
Mhm.
ugly.
Okay.
So they're like, we're moving off of Fields. They trade him, cut him, whatever they've got to do to get rid
Okay.
of him. You're at like the number 8, 9, 10 pick for
Mhm.
your pick, and you got the Panthers number 1 pick.
Mhm.
If it was, and I saw this on Pardon My Take, so I stole it from him, but I had to ask you
Okay.
because I know you're huge on this. Would you trade the number 1 pick for somebody like Justin Herbert? Because you look at the Chargers and how bad they are cap
Mhm.
wise. They need to
Yep.
free up some money. They move off Herbert. They draft Caleb Williams, bring in Harbaugh, however.
Mhm.
But as a Bears fan perspective, would you move off of that number 1 pick and get Justin Herbert? And almost right away, he becomes the best quarterback in Bears franchise history.
Mhm. So, okay, that's a lot to this scenario in question. So, for my opinion, I'm going to start off and say if Fields shits the bed, does terrible, I'm a Fields guy. Like, I don't think they should get rid of him. But in this scenario, they're getting rid of him no matter what. We'll say that. They cut him, trade him, whatever. That doesn't matter. And you give me the opportunity to trade the number 1 pick for Justin Herbert, abso-fucking-lutely, I'm doing that. Like,
All
not a
right.
question about it. Like, I was a huge Justin Herbert fan in college. I like Justin Herbert. I know it just may not work out in, LA, the Chargers. But bring him to Chicago cuz we have the weapons. And then build that line around him cuz you go get, to me, um I don't know where I don't know, does the Chargers have a pick in the first round? Um but if you could, I would almost want them to try and they can trade the first pick, get their first round pick, the Chargers, trade the Chargers first round pick and our first round to get back up there to go get Marvin Harrison Jr. because I think he's a game changer in this draft.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and that would be huge for Herbert. So yes, in other words, absolutely, I'm doing that. No doubt about it.
Okay. Yeah. So that
Give me
puts
someone
you the
proven. Give me
Chargers.
someone proven over a risk any day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blink
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah. And that's thinking about it. You're like, okay, Caleb Williams, his potential's through the roof.
Mhm. Sure.
But
What is that attitude
what
there?
if he comes in? Yeah, that's what I was about to say. What if he comes in with that head case and he's like,
Nope.
you know, I'm already this good, you
Yeah.
know, whatever the scenario may be, and he just doesn't pan out, and
Yeah.
you're just another quarterback in the Bears carousel at that point. So
Yep.
why not trading for someone that you already know is established in the NFL, can handle the game?
Yep.
And the Chargers may look at that and be like, no
Yeah, they might
chance we're
not.
making that trade.
Or you
But
know what? I'd almost go on a limb, and it's a lot, but if it could be a guarantee of getting back in there to get Marvin Harrison Jr., I would almost go on a limb, put it on the show here, my word, at me if you want to, trade the first round pick, number 1, and Fields for Justin Herbert. Like, that's where I would be. That's the only quarterback I would
yeah,
want in that case. Like, they get Fields, who I think he is an NFL quarterback. Like, I don't see the problem in him. But if they want to get rid of him because they think he's the problem, give me Herbert.
yeah,
Yeah, I would have no qualms about that at all. Book it.
yeah.
Give it to
And
me
that's
today.
looking at that, the Chargers, I think, have either the 5th or the 6th pick.
Ooh, that would.
So trying to get back up there for Marvin Harrison may not be feasible because at that point, I mean, 1, 2, and 3 may end up going Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels,
Yep.
and then you've got Marvin Harrison. More than likely, would probably go to 4 to the Cardinals.
Arizona, I think. Yep.
Yep. And then you could get like Joe Alt, who's generational left tackle.
Yeah.
Which would be something the Bears could
That's what we
use.
need. Yeah.
But something like that wouldn't be bad. But
no,
so let's just say, let me give you. I don't think they would actually. I don't know if they would move off of him because I think they still have faith in him, but he has not lived up to the expectations. But what about trading the number 1 for like Trevor Lawrence?
Oh yeah, I'd do that too.
Okay.
Yeah, he can do it. He is an NFL. I fully agree. He would be better team. He'd be in the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Like I have no doubt about it.
Okay,
I would do that for those two. Yeah, absolutely. Now I can say, if we can't get into, and this will be kind of my last point. We're kind of going a little long here. If we can't get back in for Marvin Harrison Jr., what I suggest the Bears try and do, if this all goes down, you get rid of Fields, and some miraculous way you get Herbert out of this. You go up, you fly everyone you can up to Minnesota and go get Justin Jefferson and sign him, because he is up, I think, after this year. If they don't bring Kirk Cousins back, he's not going to want to stay there. So you try and go get him, and that's your team. Like, but I don't know if they got the money to do it after all that. So it would be a logistical thing.
Yeah,
but
you'd have.
That's my.
You
Justin
could
Herbert,
get.
yes. As a Bear, yes.
Yeah, I like that. But I mean, also you could get like T. Higgins.
Oh yeah.
Mike Evans,
Anybody
Michael
like that.
Pittman
Mike Evans
Jr.
would be awesome.
But even the 9th, even if you were only had to keep your 9th pick, like you could get Brock Bowers from Georgia.
Yeah, and put him as a receiver pretty much, because he pretty well is.
Yeah, run
we got
2 tight end sets with him and Kmet.
So yeah, it'll be a fun, interesting offseason. But like I said, that's the end for me.
That's right.
But again, in ending, go Bears.
Yep.
Beat the Packers this weekend. Let's go. Let's show them something. Bear down and beat them. Get them out of there. So
that's right. Bear down. All right.
So hit them with that.
Sounds good to me. All right. Well, guys, that's right. Well, that's going to be a wrap on today's episode. We want to thank everyone for tuning in, however and wherever you may be listening. Subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Apple Pod, and Spotify at 23XV Sports Show. Join us next week for another episode. Peace.